Now, we proceed to the second part, which is how does forest school support the development of the whole person. Let's talk about holistic development. I am so sure that most of you are already familiar with holistic development. So we will just briefly run through it. So when we look at your child, we want your child to develop in the physical area. We want him to learn how to use his senses and his body to navigate this world. So we want him to master movement, motor skills. And how do we do that? We by letting him climb the tree or by letting him cross the stream or swing on a vine. Yon. What else? In intellectual development, it's how they reason, it's how they clarify, they analyze, they question, they understand and solve problems. So they use the brain, the mind to think. So, yan actually yung picture na nakita dyan is an example of, a loose natural material found in the environment na, ginawan nila ng bamboo boat. Ginamitan ng utak. So, yun yung mga opportunities na binibigay po natin sa mga bata. Language means that it's how they develop and exchange ideas through verbal and non-verbal cues. Okay? So, when children come to forest school, sometimes their vocabulary is enriched. So, may mga nakikita silang mga bagay doon, dragonfly, makahiya, bukit-kit. So, it's a way of developing their language. What else? Emotion, or the ability to recognize and influence your own emotional state and that of others. So, it's recognizing, acknowledging yung mga frustrations, yung mga anger, and all. Kasi when a child masters his emotions, then he masters himself. It's learning how to say no and setting boundaries kapag sobra na yung tulakan nila. Or, sigaw ka na lang dyan kapag frustrated ka na. That happened in one of our sessions. So one boy, ayaw niya nang magtulak-tulakan and sinasabihan niya, sabi niya, no, ayoko na. Pero yung mga kalaro, hindi siguro na sense na ayaw niya na talaga. Akala nila parang laro pa rin. So what he did was he left the group. Umalis siya, tumayo siya, tapos yon, sumigaw na lang siya. He screamed to let off his frustration. And, that's the beauty of being in the forest or being outside kasi pwede kang sumigaw. Hindi ko po alam kung inaalaw nila ang pagsigaw sa traditional schools. But, that's just one example of how you can nurture yung emotional development ng isang bata. Social development is letting them negotiate or collaborate with others. So it's developing yung relationship nila sa bawat isa. Okay? And finding a friend, having someone that you can relate to. And also understanding na kunyari yung point of view mo ay pwede palang iba sa point of view ng ibang tao. Nakakatuwa po kasi yung trail namin, the forest where we go to in Cavite is medyo challenging siya pero kayang-kaya naman ng mga bata. So one time may bitbit akong walking stick na hiniram nila ng mga bata. Pero iisa lang yon. So kinuha ng isang bata tapos nung nasa part na sila na pababa, the other kid said he pinahiram niya yung walking stick sa ibang kaibigan kasi sabi niya, this, inabot niya, sabi niya, here, you may need it. Diba? And it's like, it's them saying, ingat kayo, kaya mo yan. Nakakatuwa kasi when they are in that situation, you see them caring for each other na hindi ko sinabi, I didn't prompt them to say, or to watch out for each other. So it's a good feeling. And spiritual development. It's not religious kind of spiritual, but it's just having awe and wonder kapag nasa isang lugar ka, pag nasa nature ka. It just gives you a sense of place in the vastness of this life. So, we when out in nature, we hope that they also experience this and that they will find their sense of identity and their sense of purpose. So, as a summary nitong holistic development, when each of these areas are addressed, your child can then link his experiences to the real world. Okay? So, hindi lang siya lesson na tinuro sa eskwelahan, pero they experience socialization, yung spiritual, emotional development nila. It makes sense to them. Okay? Next, another area where we talk about the development of your child in forest school is risk-taking. Nabanggit na natin ito kanina, so but I will really reiterate it. So in forest school, they will be exposed to risks. But we as leaders, we prioritize, making them feel safe, not just physically but emotionally. So, kasi like I mentioned, if they do not fall or hindi nasugat yung tuhod nila, paano nila matutunang bumangon ulit? Pag hindi sila umakyat sa mga puno, how will they learn how to go higher? If they don't learn how to play sticks na possibly makapag-harm sa ibang bata, how will they be mindful of their friends? And pag walang awayan dyan, how will they learn to resolve conflicts in real life? So, again, if we don't expose them to harm or adversity, they will not discover their capabilities. If you keep them safe all the time, they will grow into soft adults. Soft adults are weak. Ma-experience lang ng konting hirap sa buhay, give up na siya. Surely, I'm sure you don't want your children to keep on running to you as a 30-year-old adult, right? So you want them to be able to, think for themselves. Okay? Definition lang, when we talk about risk-taking, hazard, okay, is anything that may cause potential harm. Harm is the damage caused by the hazard. And risk is the probability of that harm happening. So, paano po ba natin i-reduce ang risks? So, unang-una is, kaya siya long-term, we have to understand the abilities of each individual. Alam mo, okay, dito lang, level 1 pa lang yung kaya netong akyatin. Pero next time, pwede mo na siyang i-invite, kaya mo na siguro mas mataas na akyatin. Because you understand their abilities. Okay? Number 2 is to understand the seasonal changes in the environment. Okay, maulan ngayon, baka mag-landslide or something like that. So, you do not bring the children there. You choose another area where it's safer for the kids. Okay? Another thing is you use repetition or positive language. Ulit-ulitin lang, ingat, ganyan, or dito mo ilagay yung paa mo, or dito ka kumapit, something like that. Okay? And you empower the children to take charge of their own safety. Kapag na-expose na kasi sila doon, tapos wala ka doon, mag-extra ingat mga yan. I have seen that with my pamangkin who's, always climbing yung bayabas na puno namin. Pag malapit ka, minsan, papa-fall pa yan. Pero pag wala ka doon wala na like more than a meter distance, kapit talaga yan. So, he will learn how to regulate his own safety. Okay? Another area where forest school supports the development of the whole child is self-esteem and emotional intelligence. What is self-esteem? A child with a healthy self-esteem recognizes his own worth. Therefore, he's responsible for his own actions and shows respect for others. So it enables him to make good decisions under pressure, kaya niya yung stress, and he has the confidence to say no sa mga activities na hindi siya komportable. Okay? So your child is given choices because it empowers him. So we do not impose, hindi kami nag-impose ng lesson, pero nagsasuggest lang kami. Ano ba gusto mong i-explore ngayon? Ano ba gusto mong laruin ngayon? Ano ba gusto mong kainin ngayon? Okay? Another thing is that we do not do the tasks for your child. For school, sila magbitbit ng sarili nilang bag, sila magbukas ng sarili nilang baunan. Kung may damit sila, sila magpalit ng sarili nilang damit. Kapag nasa baba na kami, tapos biglang umulan, ilabas ang kapote, ikaw ang magsuot ng sarili mong kapote. Okay? Because that's how it is developed. When they do things by themselves, they will have the confidence and independence. And they will take healthy risks. So, when they do that, we will stand back and not rescue them from their own failures. So, as a parent, ang pwede niyo pong gawin is to review and reflect. Just asking them. It's one powerful tool na pwede natin gawin. Review and reflect. Itanong lang natin sila. You give the question back to them. Next, emotional intelligence. A child who is emotionally intelligent is able to recognize, control, and change their emotional state. Dalawang klase po yan. Intrapersonal skills, yung pangsarili, and interpersonal skills relating to other people. Intrapersonal skills has 3 categories. Self-awareness. Ano ba yung nararamdaman ko ngayon? Ano ba yung sinasabi ng katawan ko ngayon? Bakit nanginginig yung katawan ko? Ibig sabihin ba nun, galit yon? Yon. Second is self-regulation. How do I control these emotions? Sisigaw na lang ako. Or susuntukin ko na lang tong katabi ko. Or magtatapon na lang ako ng bato. Third is self-motivation, channeling those emotions to achieve my goals. Okay? Tapos, interpersonal is para sa ibang tao, ang batang marunong makisalamuha. Yon, makisalamuha at tumulong ng ibang tao, social skills, and empathy. Hindi lang siya tutulungan, pero they read the emotion of their yung kapwa nila tao. So what you can do is yung first step siguro is when you see your child crying or sad, help them identify their feelings and recognize it. Merong tip na nabigay sa akin before. One way that you can uncover is by this one phrase, "You seem sad. Can you tell me more about it?" So, sila na magsasabi mismo nun kung sad ba talaga yung feeling na nararamdaman nila. And then, they will also tell you what's going on. Okay. Next is developing resilient, confident, independent, and creative learners. So, this is another outcome or goal that we want to bring out in your child. Why do we want these? Bakit ba natin gusto? Kasi these are the qualities that will prepare them for the future. Isa-isahin po natin. Ano ba ang resilient? Resilient kids, they fail, but they try again. They do not give up easily, and they can cope and manage their emotions when faced with difficulties. As a parent, what you can do is to let your child struggle. Yes, minsan mahirap para sa mga magulang, pero we have to. A confident kid is someone who can say no and resist peer pressure. They can laugh at themselves, and they do not worry about looking silly, and they are contented and they feel love. As a parent, what you can do is to provide a safe and loving environment for your child. An independent kid knows how to evaluate himself and knows their own strengths and weaknesses. They know what to do without anyone telling them. They are critical thinkers. They ask why. They look for multiple possible solutions. So, to foster that, do not provide all the answers. And finally, a creative kid is able to connect unrelated ideas. So marami silang solution sa mga problema. They fantasize, they imagine, they daydream. They have a keen sense of humor and they ask many questions, and sometimes they even challenge authority. So, how to foster creativity? Let your child be bored. The next time sabi ng anak mo, "Ma, I'm bored." Huwag mo bigyan ng gadget. Hayaan mo siyang mabore. That's one way of fostering creativity. Okay?